You know those people, right? The ones who seem to have this effortless charm. They walk into a room and you can just feel people being drawn to them. When they talk, everybody listens. Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack that magic and show you the simple, powerful science behind being instantly likable.
So, it really comes down to this question. Do you want to just be part of the crowd, or do you want to be the one who leads it? Because believe it or not, the ability to influence, connect, and lead, that's not some gift you're born with. It's a skill. And the best part? It's a skill that's based on some really simple, learnable principles of human psychology. So today, we're going to break down the exact techniques that can totally transform your relationships and make you unforgettable. Let's dive in.
You know what they say, first impressions are everything. So our first section is all about creating that immediate positive vibe the second you meet someone. We've got 3 simple but, trust me, incredibly powerful techniques you can start using today.
Dale Carnegie absolutely nailed it with this one. This first technique sounds so basic, but it is wildly effective. When you use someone's name in a conversation, their brain literally lights up. It sends this subconscious signal that says, I see you, I value you. It's such a small thing that makes a person feel incredibly important.
All right, now for a technique that works on a really deep subconscious level. It's called mirroring. Now, this is not about mimicking someone like you're making fun of them. It's about subtly, almost invisibly reflecting their behavior to create a feeling of familiarity and comfort. When someone feels like you're on their level, they just instinctively trust you more.
So you might be wondering, what should I actually mirror? Well, you can subtly reflect their posture, their tone, even the pace they're speaking at. If they're leaning in and talking with a lot of energy, match that. If they're more laid back and quiet, bring your own energy down a notch. The key word here, and I can't stress this enough, is subtlety. It should feel natural, like you're both just on the same wavelength.
Okay, our third technique for that instant connection is all about your body language. And while there's a ton to say about it, let's focus on one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal, the simple nod. When you nod while someone is talking, you're doing more than just hearing them. You're showing them you understand them. That makes people feel so valued and in turn encourages them to open up even more.
All right, so you've nailed the first impression. Fantastic. Now, how do we build on that? In this next section, we're going to explore some amazing techniques for turning that initial spark into a real, genuine connection.
Now, this next one is going to sound completely backwards, but the psychology behind it is just fascinating. How on earth could asking someone to do something for you actually make them like you more?
Well, it's called the Benjamin Franklin effect. Here's how it works. When you ask someone for a small favor, like, hey, can you pass me that book? Or asking for a quick piece of advice, their brain has to justify why it did that for you. And the easiest, simplest justification is, well, I must like this person. It's brilliant. It also makes them feel useful and important, which they then associate with you.
And here's the wisdom right from the man himself. Franklin knew that we're always telling ourselves stories to make sense of our actions. By doing you a favor, a person subconsciously makes a little investment in you, which makes them way more likely to see you in a positive light.
Let's be honest. What's everyone's favorite subject? Themselves. And the easiest way to be a fantastic conversationalist is to be a fantastic listener. The secret to that? Asking open-ended questions. Those are the questions that can't just be answered with a yes or no. Think how or why. This invites people to share their passions and stories, and they will absolutely love you for it. Okay, let's talk about compliments. Anyone can say, nice shoes. It's fine, but it's fleeting. It's forgotten in 5 seconds. But when you compliment someone's character, their creativity, their intelligence, their kindness, that lands differently. It shows you see who they are, not just what they're wearing. This kind of compliment is way more meaningful, more memorable, and it builds a much, much stronger bond.
All right, now we're moving into the more advanced stuff. This section is all about navigating those subtle, sometimes tricky parts of a conversation with real skill and grace.
Here's the secret. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity. So don't be afraid to share a small, relatable story about a mistake you made or something funny that went wrong. Now, this isn't about oversharing your whole life story. It's just about showing you're a real human being. That little bit of vulnerability builds trust and warmth almost instantly.
Look, disagreements are going to happen, but they don't have to turn into a conflict. The secret is this simple 2-step process. First, find something, anything you can genuinely agree with in their point. Validate their passion or their perspective. Then, And only then do you gently introduce your own point of view. It's a brilliant way to stop them from getting defensive and keeps the whole conversation productive.
This example right here is so powerful. It shows the incredible power of empathy. See, one of our deepest human needs is just to feel understood. So when someone shares a problem, don't dismiss it by saying, "Oh, everyone's stressed." Instead, reflect their feeling back to them. Just saying, "Wow, that sounds really stressful," validates their experience and creates an immediate, powerful connection.
So we've covered how to start and navigate a conversation, but how you end it can define the entire memory of the interaction. This last section is all about making your exit just as powerful as your entrance.
Here's a fascinating thing about our brains. We don't remember things like a video recording. Instead, our memory just takes two snapshots: the most intense emotional moment, the peak, and the very end. That's it. It's called the peak-end rule, and it gives you this incredible power to shape how someone remembers you just by controlling the final moments of your conversation.
You know that old saying, all's well that ends well? Well, in psychology, it's literally true. No matter how the conversation went before, you can leave a lasting positive impression by ending on a high note. Say something warm like, "I really enjoyed hearing your perspective," or "It was so great talking with you." That final positive moment can literally color their entire memory of the whole conversation.
So there you have it, the science of being liked. It's not some kind of magic, it's a set of skills. And just like any skill, you get better with practice. So the only question left is, which one of these are you going to go out and try today?